Thank you, Jennifer. Welcome to all of you that are in the audience to our commission meeting of July 25th, 2023 at 5 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is 5:05. Invocation. Commissioner Duggins, would you please do the honors for us?
Sure.
Everybody stand.
Stand with me, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you today that we ask for your healing presence among those that are sick and those who have lost, to comfort them in their time of loss. We are forever grateful of your promise and aware of it. We just ask you to be with this commission as we go through our meeting here to make good, sound decisions and for the better of the people of our community. Amen.
Commissioner Duggins and commissioners, I'd like to take a few minutes, a moment of silence for Ms. Della Vega. She passed away recently, and her daughter, Delala Watts, was her manager for many years. And Della was very involved in everything that went on in the city and county. So
She was chairwoman of the Republican Party in the years, wasn't she?
So if you don't mind, we'll take a few minutes of silence and everyone. Thank you so much. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag
of the state of Mexico, and the symbol of protection among the nations.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Aguilar, Vice Chair Secretary. Commissioner Duggins,
Here.
Commissioner Gonzalez, and Chair Martinez.
Present now. Item 6, approval of agenda. Commissioners, you had a chance to review the agenda. Any additions, or if not, I ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Duggins, second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Item 7, approval of minutes of July 11, 2023. Commissioners, you had a chance to review the minutes in your packet. Any,
I'll make a motion to approve.
okay, motion by Commissioner Duggins to approve, second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes of July 11, 2023 are approved. And tell Mr. Amigo, thank you. Item 8, committee and department reports. Acknowledge department reports. Detention Center. You have your packet in there. Commissioners, did you review it? Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, are we running about a 3/4 full capacity? Something like that?
I would say that's probably a good estimate. Maybe a little
Our
above
capacity is 100, a little better.
100.
And my question, Commissioners, Mike, how's the staffing? Are they catching up, or is it you still need to hire more people?
They're not fully They do still have some positions. They're not fully staffed. But they've made some headway.
That's good.
Has it ever been fully staffed? As long as I can remember, we've been short.
It, if it does, it doesn't last very long.
Okay. Acknowledge managers reporting. You guys had a chance to review it? Any questions? Any comments, Mike?
Not this evening.
Thank you. Betty, you wanted to, your department, your secretary?
I just wanted to let the commission know, I did receive a call from Paul Pineda from the city of Choco. We usually use the Team Center as one of our home locations. He did inform me that they are going to start construction of the Team Center, and it's not going to be available for us for elections. I did let him know that we do have an election coming up now in November. And we did ask if we would be able to utilize the senior center. So they are trying to get approval from the mayor for us to start using the senior center instead of the youth center. So once you get an approval, I've asked Attorney Lance to amend our resolutions that we've had for 21 and 22. Well, actually 22 and 23. And then we would need to amend the resolution for 24 and 25. It was already approved by you guys. And then we have to do a new LOD with, I'm just waiting on an email from Donald to get the 25th approved. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up.
Thank you. If by chance there's not, we can't use it,
Yeah. They used to use the fire department a long time ago. They used to.
So we're thinking if we're not able to utilize the senior center, Manager Hobbs was saying, maybe we could ask for Liberty School, since some of the classrooms are being utilized, we could always utilize the gymnasium. Or maybe since they remodeled Finley Gym, if it's up to par with, access for disabilities, then we'd be able to use it there. I know back administration used to use that, but they stopped using it because it wasn't ADA compliant. So I'm thinking now that it's remodeled, it probably would be ADA compliant. Or we have those two other options that we're looking at.
thank you. We have one department head, a road department. Do you have anything to say, Art, or?
No, not right now.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, commissioners report. Commissioner Aguilar. Commissioner Duggan.
I guess give a little water report where the river's gone dry. We enjoyed a heavy, more than normal runoff this year. And but now we're relying on San Juan Channel water. And we're using it faster than expected. And if monsoons don't arrive, they're going to, but if they don't, we'll be out of water about mid-August. But monsoon's coming. Art, I hope the culverts are clear because it's gonna come.
Commissioner.
No, I don't think it's.
Okay, for me, we met in San Antonio, Mike and myself, and Jennifer went that day, and we had a public meeting because we wanted to know what the people there wanted with the San Antonio part that's there. We had our own ideas, but most of the people that went to the meeting, they just wanted clean. They don't want an RV, according to what the people, no RV connections, They want it clean, they want some shades, maybe some picnic tables, kind of clean it out. So to be presentable in case somebody stops by and wants to eat their lunch or whatever. They don't want us to compete with the people that have RV parks already and make their living off of it. So for us, it's not said. I think we're gonna go ahead and just start cleaning it, correct, Mike? You were gonna look into it and stuff, to start the process to clean it up.
I will start having meetings with the road department, facilities, go out, take a visit to the site. We still have buried water system and electrical stuff there. So we have a sort of committee going between myself and the road and facilities, see what it takes, what it would take, and then and then come back to the commission and say what we think we could do and how much it'll cost. We'll go from there.
Okay.
And I'm trying to plan it for next week or the week afterwards.
And we have thought of removing the backstop. There's a baseball backstop there and 2 buildings. I'm only one commissioner, but I think we need to leave it there for the meantime, because you never know if someone might want to play baseball and it's not hurting anything. I think, or if we make it convenient for the kids, because they want playground equipment also for the kids to be able to play there. So I think that, in my opinion, that's not hurting anything, just leave it. We'll decide later if we remove it. But the school, the principal for the school, she's gonna come to our meeting one of these days, because she is tasked to have an exit. In case something happens there at the school, or the kids gotta go somewhere. And so she's gonna discuss that also with the superintendent of the school, what the site is, where if they have to exit the kids, in case something happens at the school, or if they can go to a safety zone. I told her that, when I remember that we hired some kids one summer to do a path. And I went around, walked around, but I never saw it, so I haven't seen Quaden to ask him. You might ask him where it's at, Mike, because we bought material and stuff to do that path from the school, like a walking path. So I don't know, maybe it's covered with weeds. But one thing I want to commend, because I visit a lot of counties, and the weed control, the fire department, and just some of the areas are pretty nice. So we need to thank the employees that keep it up on the weeds.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I did want to say on that committee, that community meeting, we did recognize that NMDOT is looking at the design phase, implementation phase of that exit and on-ramp. And so we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves with what else we want to do to San Antonio Park until we have a definite design plan in place from NMDOT. So that's part of also the process, checking with NMDOT, see when that final design is estimated to be out, and see if they are going to want to cut into some of our park area or not. So.
And I also attended a commission elected me to represent the Socorro County in the coalition of Arizona. It's Arizona counties and New Mexico County. In that committee, every year we're tasked to choose a commissioner of the year for 2022, a state employee of the year, a New Mexico organization of the year, and an individual of the year. We were tasked to write something out 3 months ago. I sent all my stuff on the people that I felt deserved that honor. It's not just, they don't just hand that out. So I sent it in when the votes came, I was very happy to be informed that the nominations I sent in were selected. I don't want to mention who got it until they're going to present them here. They'll come down and give them the plaques. So I was very excited. We were able to get 4 out of them from our state. That was good. So I will be getting out in a year, so many months. I'll be turning out. This, I tell you guys, the commission will have to appoint somebody else if you guys want to. But I feel this is a good committee to be. Arizona's in there, and really helping, 2 states helping each other to get what's right for the public. The other thing I want to mention is I've been getting emails. We got an email today from State Representative Jennifer Jones. Later on in the agenda, we're going to talk about some stuff. But this letter, I'm just going to read it so you guys are aware of it. It's something that we've been talking about. I know Commissioner Duggins has been very vocal about it. And we sent the resolution to our governor. But we have not heard anything that I know of, Mike. Nothing. And she sent this letter with the 3 counties that signed the resolution. And the Honorable Michelle Lujan Grisham, I am writing today to request your immediate action to help address rising concerns along our southern borders with Mexico. As you're aware, the El Paso sector, which includes the entire New Mexico border, is the largest entry point of illegal immigrants coming into the country. Considering that on May 11th, Title 42 is scheduled to be lifted, I believe it is imperative that you use every resource available, including the New Mexico National Guard and Air National Guard, to help stem the flow of illegal activity that would likely increase substantially due to the ending of this policy. When you and I met during the recent legislative session, I was encouraged by your knowledge of potential resources that could be used to help protect our southern border, as well as your willingness to help stop the flow of illegal drugs and human trafficking. Human trafficking that has exploded during the past several years. If I remember correctly, we also discussed ongoing conversations with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security regarding the possibility of financial assistance by the federal government to offset the cost of utilizing the National Guard to assist the U.S. Border Patrol on our southern border. Since I have not received any additional information about those conversations with the Department of Homeland Security, I would greatly appreciate an update from your office as to where that potential financial assistance currently stands. Further, whether or not the federal financial assistance may be available in the next term, I believe most New Mexico citizens would be fully supportive of using Mexico National Guard at state expense to help them coming into our state that is posing such a dangerous threat to our young people and others across the state. In addition, utilizing the New Mexico National Guard of New Mexico and Air National Guard would enhance law enforcement continuing efforts to reduce the growing violence and crime, including the human trafficking trade along the border as currently situation is simply unacceptable. While the federal government may be responsible for controlling and protecting our national borders, the current crisis situation demands that all levels of government play an active role in protecting the safety of our state population and limiting societal damage caused by the federal government's failure to secure our southern border. The use of state resources in this effort to stop the violence and suffering created by border breakdown is even more important once Title 42 provisions are no longer enforced after May 11th. I believe now is the time for all the state of New Mexico available resources to be used to assist the U.S. Border Patrol and other federal government agencies who are trying to protect our borders and citizens of our state. The current crisis at the border demands such response. Thank you for your attention in this important matter. I look forward to hearing from your office regarding potential federal assistance to offset the cost of deploying the National Guard along the southern border. Sincerely, Jennifer Jones, State Representative, District 32. I felt I needed to read that letter because we talked about it. We also sent a letter to our governor. We still haven't heard anything. In our county alone, we've had some youth that have died. So later down on the agenda, there's an agenda item that I requested to be on the agenda. It's time that we need to start doing something. I responded back to her, I sent her an email, and I told her we're gonna have a board of directors meeting with the associated counties, with all 33 counties. And at that meeting, I told the affiliate of the commissioners to put it on the agenda so we can request support from all 33 counties for a resolution from the associated counties to send a letter to the governor showing if all 33 counties send the resolution, it'll be a little bit more powerful. There's 33 counties that need to help our government. Any questions, commissioners or anyone? Yeah.
I wish they'd get it done. I don't know how many people have died in Socorro County from fentanyl, but it's numerous. It's not a few, right? I mean, it probably happens weekly, if not more often. We had, tell me again, did we have, in our middle school last year, we had, was it 20 overdoses in a week's time? Is that what it was?
From the information I had, I think it was 21 overdoses, thankfully no fatalities. But that in combination, I get a lot of reports from state police as well, a combination of motor vehicle accidents related to fentanyl use and or smuggling. And then people trying to recover the vehicle because there's a stash in the vehicle.
Do we know how many students are in the middle school?
I do not.
Joe?
No.
150? You think?
We could.
I don't know, but 20 overdoses. So how many are, those are the overdoses? Middle school. And a governor that doesn't answer.
Commissioner,
Yes, ma'am.
there's 271 students in grade 6 to 8 at the middle school.
270?
It was pretty close, 300. We'll discuss this a little bit more on action items on item F. I have some other stuff to say with that. The other thing, I'm also a member, the commission asked me to be on this committee, the County Livestock Loss Authority. This is a committee that was put together to help compensate people that are losing livestock due to wolves. It's coming pretty good, and pretty soon they'll have their website, the proper forms to fill out to get compensated. So just to keep you posted, it's working well, and I think this will be a quicker way to compensate the ranchers that lose livestock. It's quite a bit of money. I was surprised at how many by-county captains here in Socorro. It's quite a few.
I still would say that's the loss of livestock, but it may be a bigger loss on the breeding. How would you say that, Attorney Nance? I mean, is that loss bigger?
Yeah, their gestational loss, that's
Okay, public comments. Any public comments, Jennifer? What you got? Anyone from the audience? Presentations. SJR Consulting, Penba, remember I told you guys that you guys are free to get this guy here to give a presentation, maybe he can help us get some.
We just need the money.
Hey, I'll do my best. Commissioner, Chairman, thank you, all the commissioners, thank you very much. Manager Hawks. My name is Justin Reese. I'm recently retired from the DOT. I retired as the cabinet secretary because of DOT. Spent 3 years as the deputy secretary for the DOT. So a lot of things that I do is transportation and infrastructure related as well. Consulting services is what I do. So I did meet Chairman Martinez at one of the meetings. I do work with the city of Socorro on some of the stuff they're doing. They have consulting services, but I do help them out. So a lot of stuff that I'm doing, I work with a lot of the programs, your county road departments and stuff that, how they work about your ICIPs, how we're coming across, getting those, if it's a maintenance issue, if it's a safety issue, how we're gonna get those ICIPs planned and how we're gonna move forward and get money for those. I worked with Cabinet Secretary Sandoval. We implemented the TPF program, the Transportation Project Fund. I was part of that whole program when it started, which is a 95% match. So 95% the state would pay, 5% would the county would pay. So we implemented that. We went off from the LGRF, which was a 75-25 match, which is your co-op grants, your Safe Routes to School program, and a lot of the other programs that you guys get some of the grant funding from. A lot of people don't understand that there are a lot of federal grants out there currently right now. There's a lot of funding that's coming from the Biden administration. We have the infra grants, we have rural grants, we have raise grants, we have mega grants. Some people in counties and cities don't understand that a lot of these federal grants are something that's the counties and you guys have to put the money up front first. Like if you wanted $5 million, say for example, that's reimbursable, of course. But I mean, there are a lot of grants, but a lot of people need to understand that you would have to front the money up for prior to be able to get some. If you were selected for one of those grants, it would be reimbursed. So what I try to do, try to find some of these local grants, some of our state grants, and try to help you guys out in trying to implement some of your projects. I was looking at on your list here for your agenda. I did see that you got the Escondida Lake Plan. I know there's a quality of life grants that are currently coming out. Right, again, they have $40 million that's coming out. This is their second phase of funding. Last year they had over $200 million with the grant request. So I know that funding's coming out in a couple of weeks. I did talk to the DFA prior to coming here just to find out when that program's going to be coming out. So this is something, the project could be something that could fall underneath that quality of life grant to help fund some of the design funding that might want to be going forward. So it's just, I see you're doing the renderings. What I do for the grant writing process is I don't write the grants personally myself. I administer the grants. I did write a lot of the grants and administer a lot of the grants throughout the state. A lot of the funding down to the Senate that was a project with $50 million grants or the grants that I wrote and then administered. I work directly with a lot of the consulting firms that you guys, engineering firms that you guys work with, that you might have on call, the Wilson companies, the Bohannons, the USPs. I'm not sure who you guys have on staff or who you guys have on call, but I would work directly with them and I would go through the grant process with them as we move along, and then I've redlined the end to go through and make sure we're fine tuning it. I'm still connected greatly with the DOT. I'm very familiar with a lot of the district engineers, and especially here in District 1. I'm a native from Silver City. I was born and raised down in Silver City. I know this area. I know the Magdalena area, the Alamo area. As DOT, we did a lot of work trying to help the tribe community there, putting deterioration. So I am aware of some of the unfortunate events that happened in the county. So I know that you guys received about $3 million the year before for the tanks, for the run roads. I was part of the selection committee on that TPF grants for that stuff that funding you guys didn't receive. I know the new selections of the TPF funding will be coming out probably at the end of the month. They'll be announcing it, who was selected, what was selected. This year, where there was only about $60 million that was given out to each community. I mean, there was $60 million and bundled up together. So what it was, that each district was divided. There was a tax bill that was on there that Senator Gonzalez was trying to pass. That would have given an additional $85 million to the transportation, which the governor vetoed. So that would actually help with the TPF funding that could have pretty much covered all the projects throughout the state. Normally in a year we get about $150 million worth of requests to that TPF fund. It's a great program. The 5% match, and there's also the hardship waivers that come along with it. So I'm very familiar with that kind of stuff that to help you assist whoever you are working with or assist whoever in your staff. to be able to make sure we're going after that type of money. $55 million right now in bridge money that's out there throughout the state. I know 37% of that has to go to the local entities. I'm not sure if any of, I know there might be a local bridge, I think, in this area. I can't remember that. I'm not sure. I know they're doing the Escondida. They're doing the AECOM is doing the design on it right now. The same when you brought up the city, the San Antonio interchange. That's something I could also interact on for you guys. I'm very familiar with what's going on in that project. I was part of it when it first started. I know they're doing a study on it currently right now, so it's something I can advocate on your behalf to be able to be front and center, to talking with their project managers, your engineers, and being on board to see, okay, when are the public meetings? What's the scheduling looking like? Where are we at? When are we going to be able to help our communities or give some types of answers to what you guys your constituents are asking us. So grant writing, like I said, is something I personally don't do, but I've done. But I go work directly with whoever you guys would hire on as an on-call basis, an engineering firm, and I would work directly with them to make sure that we're getting what you guys want, and then I'd be able to finalize and be able to redline it. And I do work directly with that, but somebody that I work with that is a great grant writer that I personally work with. It helps me out in redlining everything that I do. So I agree. I guess it makes some different things that I could actually offer in Socorro County and whatever kind of assistance you guys might need. I'm very familiar with the legislator, Senator Hemphill, and the legislator Jaramillo. I've had numerous meetings with her, Senator Representative Armstrong. I'm real connected to the legislative community due to the fact of my position at the DOT. So it's something I can speak on your behalf. I live in Santa Fe myself as it is, so I'm up there doing session. I'm there talking with them. I'm there advocating for whatever I might need to, let them know what our communities need. What you might need. I see really me doing an ask like what a lobbyist would do, but I pretty much put it down black and white and say this is what it's needed for. This is why, because of these safety issues or whatever these reasons might be. But I want to make sure your legislator understands the purpose of why we're at our request is being made. So on your behalf, let's step in there and talk to you. So, I don't know if there's any other questions. Mr. Duggan, I've gone to your farm numerous times about chili.
Oh, yeah.
When you walked in, I thought I recognized your voice first of all. That's what sort of gave it away. So
It's hard to get away from that.
yeah. So.
I thank you for coming. That we had 2 public meetings with San Antonio that I know of on Zoom.
Yeah.
I heard they were going to schedule another one. They were getting to the final design, and then from there they will go for funding, I guess.
Yeah, I think Commissioner on the process. I think they might have. Did they already finish the study, or they're going to give the alternate? They give you a couple of things to choose from. I'm not sure if they've already passed that point. I'm not sure because then from that point, then you're going to go into your design. So they'll give you alternatives. They'll give you give you like 5 alternatives, and then it goes to a public meeting. The public actually decides, okay, we like these top 2, and then at the final decision would come down to, when you work with your engineering firm, look, this is one we want to go with for whatever reason. I'm sure County Manager Hawks knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, and I think that's the phase that they're probably finishing up their study phase and going into selecting an alternative, and from that alternative, they're going to go into a design, which they'll have to probably get the engineering company another contract, unless in the contract that says somewhere that they're going to use them for design. So they might have to go out for RFP again for a design engineer. So I'm not sure what the contract says, what it states. Some have it one way and some have it another way.
Well, I appreciate you coming down and give us information. But you don't work directly for Valencia County, right?
No.
Okay.
So you get contract.
Contractor, yeah, but the card that I gave you, Jennifer, that guy, do you know him, Adrian?
Yes.
He's the one that's writing all the grants for Valencia. That's the one that I also wanted to come to the meeting because he started, and then Danny told me they had to hire 2 more because of all the money he got to manage it. Getting the grants was not hard. It's managing the money. That's a guy that this is good what he's doing, but
That's why somebody like this who can administer grants is super important.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I could do. Yeah,
okay.
I've done that at the state
So
level.
we need to invite that other guy to the meeting. The card that I gave you will call, or we can call Danny.
I can give you
The information.
The other man is does the same work as.
no, the other man is an employee in the county, so he wouldn't be available, but he can, you know, he's good.
How can we use this man's knowledge and service?
Hire him.
Okay, so,
But let's get it done, that's fine.
Chairman, Commission, so right now we have staff that does administer grants. You mentioned the quality of life grant. We ourselves applied for them. We didn't have a grant writer or anything. And we're awarded $500,000. I think we can apply for another one because we have one outstanding, so we won't give you money until we've extended.
Have it encumbered.
Yeah. And then we've been very successful in Justin's help actually, because he was on the selection committee when we applied for TPF and LGRF funding. So I would probably have to listen to what the other actual grant writer has to say and to see how as a, not a consortium, but as a team that would work out in congruency with our present staff.
Yeah.
So that would be the idea. That's how I'd like to see it roll out, if we're gonna roll it out. Because right now, administration is what we do internally. But I think that we can always use assistance, but that along with an actual person that would seek grants. And then you, like you're saying, bring in your expertise when we're getting close and redlining and making sure everything's where we need it to be.
Because when I asked that guy, I said, Danny said, well, he works for us. He's getting me grants. But I asked him, would you be willing to work for Socorro County? Oh, yeah, he said, that's what I thought. I'd be willing to help you guys out. So I brought the card, so that's the guy I thought, he said he could get grants for us.
We'll have to look at that again. I'm not quite sure if he works directly for Socorro County or if he's a contractor for them.
I'm not sure who it is.
He is an employee of Valencia County. It's head of US.
I don't know how Valencia County would have them work for us.
You'd have to, yeah, he'd have to,
Yeah,
I don't know that it's possible or not. It would be up to the Valencia County to authorize that.
Well, I took it that he had his own people to work with. Because when he said, I'm willing to go under its money, he said, you know, I help you write grants. So I took it he was a contractor.
No, if it's the same guy I'm thinking of, he's an employee and he has a department of a couple of different people. But
I'll reach
he-
out to,
But he certainly would be willing to help. I mean, you know,
I'll reach out to manager on it and then we'll go from there and then I'll be back in touch with Justin as well.
Okay.
I think that when you're talking about autonomy, and he was the one that helped get that race grant.
yeah.
That they got with
so-
them. And that raise grant took them like 5 years. For those big ones like that, it took them like on their 5th try to finally get that raise grant, which is $25 million.
That's the federal.
That's a federal
Yeah,
grant.
so Valencia County has that was the same thing with economic development that we had.
They have to fund the money.
We had to fund the money that we had teamed up with Mexico Tech and they said we were ready to rock and roll, but you remember at that time, the county didn't have the funds, $5 million to run and flow for 2 years. It was gonna be at least 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, you know, Valencia County, I think, can float 25 million where
Yeah.
we won't.
And that was the whole reason I brought that up, because I think a lot of communities don't understand that. You know, like they think there's all this money out there, and there is. And it's a very, very competitive field. It's like throwing a pebble into the ocean when you're going after the federal grants compared to when you're going after state stuff and it's only a lake. You know, that's still competitive at the state level, but on the federal level, it's competitive, and it takes numerous tries. You know, to like I said, it took them numerous tries to get that. You know, like I said, I did help write the grant for the one down in Santa Teresa. We got that on our first try, but the way that I was able to sell that one, it was a multimodal section. You have an airport there, and have a rail there, you have trucking industry that's booming out of there. So showing those kinds of multimodal sections is what really grant writing's about. You need to show them how is it going to be utilized, you know, especially in the transportation. You know, how many aspects are you gonna be able to use, this modal kind of trans. Down there was easy, just everything was there. You got the trifecta down there.
And if I may, I bet you spend a lot of time doing all that paperwork, requesting and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a full-time job.
I mean, I think once you get the template of it, and once you get the hang of it, but I mean, some of those grants you're talking a couple hundred pages, they're not small grants, especially the federal grants. The federal grants they're big grants. It's like time consuming and you have to have an engineer on board because a lot of it has to be stamped by engineers. And your traffic analysis, your traffic data, whatever kind of, whatever they're going to be requesting that grant. A lot of it has to be, engineered. An engineer needs to be, especially when you're getting your right of ways, or your easement stuff that might be in there, surveys, whatever might need to be inside that packet. It's a lot of them, engineer. That's why I work with engineering firms, and I know that Valencia County did the same. It's Molson Corbin is who they work with. Kevin Eads is the one that they worked with. Kevin Eads is the one that helped them get that grant, along with their administration. So it's really, you still have to work with an engineering company to go out with those grants.
And that's why it's good because our manager, he does a lot for us, but he doesn't have that kind of time to be researching all of that stuff. It's a lot of time. And I don't know who else helps him. I'm thinking the financial director, but they also have another thing that they gotta do. So
Yeah, no, exactly.
not somebody that's right there on the task.
And I'm like I said, I've worked with probably all these engineering firms throughout the whole state. I worked for the Southern. I was a public works director for Grand County for 8 years down there. So I was airport manager, so I ran airports. So I know a lot of the Southern region engineering firms, and I know all the Northern region engineering firms, along with all the contractors in between. I have a real strong background of connections, I guess.
That's what we need. Thank you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys, Commissioner. Thank you.
Come anytime to visit. Item 11, consideration of resolution 2023-61, New Mexico taxation and revenue delinquency list for real estate property tax year 2013 to 2020.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is our annual resolution that we need to send to the state of the treasurer.
So we need a motion. You heard our attorney, we need a motion for this resolution. So motion by Commissioner Gonzalez. Second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 2023-61 in Mexico taxation revenue for real estate property approved. Consideration of resolution 2023-62 approving participation in the SCOG program for fiscal year 23-24. Same thing? Jay?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'm Jay Armijo. I'm the Executive Director of the South Central Council of Governments. This is your annual resolution for your membership within the South Central Council of Governments. And mostly I just wanted to be here this evening to say thank you for your participation over the years. I've worked with this COG for 18 years. Socorro County's always been a member of the Council of Governments, and we appreciate your participation. We're a state designated planning district. Our district is Socorro, Sierra, and Liliana counties. We're one of 7 planning districts in the state. We're also a federally designated economic development district in the state of New Mexico with the same counties. And we also administer the workforce program in the region for the 7-county area. So we have a pretty robust programming within our COG. I'd also like to introduce Angela Real. She is our regional transportation planner. And she does all things transportation for the COG. But we also, Justin Reese was just up here talking to you all about grant writing services. The COG can assist with those kind of things as well. I think you're all familiar with Gwen Valentino. She's a former member of this community, still does a lot of work here in this community for the entities, but the COG contracts with her on behalf of the entities. So whatever you guys decide to do, Mr. Reese, that's fine. COG can also assist with grant writing. It's part of your membership fees. We pay all that for her. I also do grant writing out of our offices. We've assisted the county in the past. I think we might still be your fiscal agent on a couple of your grants that you have. So we try to work closely with your staff and understand the community. And just on that note of grant writing, I think one of the biggest challenges that I'm seeing and we're trying to wrap our minds around it better is how to help you accomplish the match side of the grant. Because as much as we'd like to say there's all this federal money out there, and there's also a match requirement for it. And if you can't match it, you can't get it. So that's one of the biggest hurdles for our small communities in my district anyway. So we're looking at different ways of maybe how we can help communities get that match requirement done, things like that. So with that, I don't really have anything else on my presentation other than just say thank you for your participation. It is a big thing for our organization. The dues fee that you all pay, we use that within our COG to match our federal funding that we get. So it goes a long way to serve our communities. We did just get another grant to hire additional grant writers within our organization. So we'll be bringing on, Gwen will still be working for us. We'll probably just increase her time. But we're going to bring on 2 full-time staff members within the council of governments that'll probably work out around you. So you will have access to additional people for your projects if you need help.
Did I hear you correctly? At no cost to the county?
Yeah, other than your annual membership, we won't charge you. We charge you a small fee for our fiscal agent services, just so we can cover our travel costs and our time.
Yeah.
You know, that way we don't get in any kind of audit trouble with our auditors because they need to see that on certain things that we're doing, we do charge a fee for it. But for the grant writing services that I'm talking about, there's no fee for that.
I learned something tonight. I didn't always did that.
Yeah, and then, and we're just trying to, it's been with Lynn especially, we've had limited budget to fund her to do some of these services. And just a month ago, we got awarded $200,000 through the CAR to make that program stand up a lot better. So it's going to be a 1-year thing that it was funded through the legislature, but we're hoping that it's going to be continuous. Good, looking forward to that. Yeah, we can have somebody come out, work with staff, we make sure that you're taking advantage of any kind of grant opportunities.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Chairman and Commission, we've utilized SUG. They've been very helpful. They've been limited on their personnel, like Jay was saying, but that's awesome that you're bringing some more on board. They've actually helped San Antonio Mutual Domestic in a grant of for a new front-end loader backhoe, 130,000. I'll just get it on a ICIP. The first time San Antonio's ever applied for an ICIP, they helped us there, and then they've helped us with the county. I think you even helped us with one of the federal funds that was getting down.
Yeah, we, on behalf of the county, we've also assisted your senior center here in Socorro County with funding opportunities. We've helped them develop their ICIP because they have to do their own ICIP now. And so we work we do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We're here and we're working. We want to work on your behalf. Like I said, your dues that you pay us, we do a lot of things. We're able to leverage them and bring in a lot more money for them. And then also your membership on the actual board helps us plan what we need to do for our communities in the district. So it helps us understand the needs of the communities a lot better when you have active participation in the board. And Michael Hawks has been at every meeting that I can think of. He's very active on your behalf and helps us. Every year we do an update to our comprehensive economic development strategy for the region. So our he's also, I believe he attends the regional transportation meetings as well on behalf of Socorro County. Very important participation.
Thank you, Jay.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, this resolution, of course, is to pay our annual dues, but I would also ask that it reaffirm the appointment which you all made in January to this board, which would be Commissioner Gonzalez and Michael Hawks as an alternative if they so choose to remain.
Sounds good to me.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve resolution 2362. Second by Commissioner.
One comment first. I'll second in terms of the next year, we may look at June. We just pay our dues by June.
I don't think we got invoiced. Did you not get an invoice?
You may have not. I'll talk to Scott about that.
I got it when they said that. I had the authority, but I wanted to make sure that, I think you wanted to get for the commission as well.
Yes.
Sorry, I overlooked the name on the invoices. It does say something.
And along with that motion, it was to reappoint Commissioner Gonzalez and our manager, Michael Hawks, as the members of that committee.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. And for the record, the amount that the sum for the annual dues is $2,486.
That's right.
Thank you, Dick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. We appreciate what you do for this organization. We look forward to working even more on your behalf, to helping you grant writing, anything else you guys want. We do lots of different projects.
To give you a list, I think.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a safe trip. Item C, consideration of resolution 2023-63, Western Communications authorizing the award of ARPA funds to upgrade broadband.
Chairman Martinez, Commission, in your packet is the resolution in which the commission received the presentation from Western New Mexico with the understanding that they would be upgrading their services in the area, and that part of that would be a tower. The funds that were recognized by the commission that would be utilized for this type of situation in which we need to expend fairly rapidly is ARPA funds. So my recommendation, based upon the commission's review of the presentation and agreement that grant award of $250,000 out of ARPA funds would be.
So moved. Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve resolution. Do I hear a second?
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Gibbons. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Any opposed? Resolution 2023-63 is approved for the upgrade of broadband infrastructure for the tune of $250,000. Item D, review.
And there's a mistake on
Where?
that. There's 306.
What is it?
Halfway down, page 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 whereas.
The amount of
Funding, it is 250,000, but there was this one extra zero at the end. So it makes it look like 250.
Well, they're gonna be happy. And maybe. Okay, change that.
Is that, was that, it's a number of times.
Yeah.
Just make that correction.
zero.
Oh, yeah, the 3 zeros, I see it now.
3.5 million.
They go by the writing.
You always catch it, Commissioner. You're good.
Well, you know, there's still-
Yes,
Okay, item D, review and direction to staff regarding approval of final retention of Escondido Lake Plan.
Did we? That just,
No, it was for the. Coming up.
after this one.
Commissioner, Chairman Martinez and Commission. After talking with everybody pretty much and notes taken from the last presentation from Site Southwest, as you can see, we're gonna go with option 1 and not have the RV sites near the lake, but are gonna have the other sites, the recreation sites, or the picnic sites, I'm sorry. Trees on the east side, we all agree with that. More picnic shelters on the island and then on the south and southeast side. The controlled entry on the northwest corner, shown in option 1, and identified on item number 13. Also, keep both pavilions, larger pavilions, and put the other one where it identifies there's a number 7 in the grass area, which would make 3 fairly good sized pavilions, 1 near the center on the east, 1 on the south central, and 1 on the north central west side, 3 large pavilions. And then also an additional restroom on item 6, identified as item number 16, near the drive-in parking about, and that's south central part of the park. So that was pretty much everybody. Is everybody in agreement with that? I know I touched base with the
Mr. Chairman.
because I would need an affirmative to let Site Southwest move forward.
Manager Hawks, one of the first things you said, trees on the west or the east?
East side. I'm sorry, the west side.
Okay. Up on the ridge.
Yeah, like we wanted for.
Did you see where there's a parking lot on the south side?
Yes, I did. And then so if they park there, they'll have those picnic tables. There'll be some picnic tables there. Oh, also a controlled entry onto the island.
Yeah.
So when we have those picnic
It
areas.
needs to rent out a little higher price, not the whole island here.
We do.
Any other questions, Commissioner?
I'm good. I look forward to it.
are we set on track in terms of the amount? The total cost, is that still?
So the total amount, we'll have some better ideas once the final rendition is. And then I had a meeting with the architect. Remember I told you there's an architect that seeks grant funding? And they're actually paid by Sites Southwest to actually seek those types of funding. So within Site Southwest cost, we'll be paying for that. And she was very, very excited and very, thought she could be very successful in seeking those types of funds. And she told us about some other grants in which I had applied for a grant last year. But it was only 50,000, but you know, every amount helps. But along with that, there was some very good vibes that I think we're going to be successful. And again, it's all hopeful. Right now, 750,000. The aeration is is in the lake now.
Is it up and
It's
running?
it's up and running. We've asked Middle Rio Grande Conservancy if they would allow us to run some water in and out, but we haven't gotten a call back.
Who did you ask?
Got a call into the main guy, Quaylen did. So,
He just got back.
okay, yeah.
This is nice.
I'll make a motion to.
I'll second it.
On the items that I sent in, Mike, I remember I mentioned on the items you listed, I recommended that maybe the road department would do some of that. When we come down to the final work, to cut down on the cost.
Yeah, that's not the design, so yeah, we'll talk about implementation costs when we want the rubber to hit the road. So that's, yeah, I have all your ideas. That's more once we're there.
Okay,
Thank you, Mike.
motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, and second by Commissioner Duggins to give staff approval for final retention of it, so the lake plan. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is approved. The final retention. It's gonna be a lake plan.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
Manager how deep is the deepest part of that lake?
It's actually fairly deep, especially after the dredging. So
20 feet?
it might even be more than, I was gonna say maybe close to 25. And we removed a lot.
That's enough to keep trout?
Cool. Art was there too. How deep do you think they went?
Well, I was talking to the operator from the excavator. He said that we get about 28 feet
28.
on the far end. If it goes down this way, he said, well, he dug out most of it on.
Did you say 28?
28. And a lot of fishing line. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not a lot.
That's the north.
Okay. Item E, review and direction to staff regarding the Dennis engineering analysis and or design of speed humps installations for Trombone Road and Severo McKee Street for a total of up to 21 speed humps.
Chairman Martinez, Commission.
How many miles?
Well, the actual, here's the,
On 2 roads?
yeah, 2 roads. 2 roads. And here's all the signatures that are required.
I think everybody that lives along this side.
Pretty much everybody, they fell within the mandated guidelines. So the cost is for 21, implementing all 21, possibly 42 to 52,000.
But 21 speed bumps?
They're not, they're speed humps.
That makes them more.
So who came up with the number 21?
That's what the engineer designed?
That's what Dennis Engineering designed based upon length of road and to maintain a constant speed, I believe, of a certain speed. So based upon their analysis,
Maybe so many.
yeah,
It's dangerous. They
yeah,
really
15
speed.
to 20 miles an hour is what.
That's the posted speed limit.
Yeah, so in other words, they design the height and width and then take that into consideration with the distance to the next one. People, if it's too far apart, they get back up to 60 miles an hour. So
Yeah.
their design is,
Well, it's needed, commissioners, it's a racetrack out there. I'm gonna go buy shocks and brakes before we put those people.
Does Chambon run all the way to the stop sign from the old?
From 408,
Yeah, from the old post office?
Yeah.
To the stop
I
sign?
wanna say yes.
Always a stop sign.
Yeah, to where it
Well,
comes to
there's-
with the, yeah.
is Chambon the upper road and the lower road is?
So Romeo, I think, comes out
Where this fellow
where
lives.
his house has the county treasurer. Serving. Tina.
Yeah.
Tina. Yeah. I didn't wanna, you know, interject her in.
Yeah, so it's, but Chambon's the longer road.
So they're like a drag strip right now, they start there. Yeah.
Who's gonna do the work, Mike?
Oh, more than likely, the county would do it.
Our road department?
Yeah, our road department. So that's pretty much our cost, but it's not in their budget, so we would have, I'm gonna have to find the money and then allocate the funds.
You're gonna have to have a loader to get it done.
What mix?
I guess my question
Hot
is,
mix, paint,
do all the people that sign know that there's that many going in?
they understand the amount. Now, when it's all said and done, you know, then you're gonna, we'll see.
Well,
I
I
think,
don't think
I
so.
don't think so, because I talked to several people up there and they were pretty happy.
There's 21 between two roads though, right? So it's like 10 and 11 or something like that.
15 and 16. So on Sergio, I think there's 6.
Yeah, and this side is
Chambon's like probably 3 times as long.
3 times as long.
Yeah. It goes to it, intersects with the running road.
Only one is 408.
You've been there on my word.
So I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, second by Commissioner Evans. Any further discussion? The only thing I wanna say is, I got a call. We lost, I forgot to ask Carl, we lost 2 employees, correct, on the road department?
Yes, sir. They added in the resignation
And,
Friday. But I'm looking out for it already. I already got it on 9. We'll try to move it on as fast as we can and get them on board.
We're actually waiting for, HR is waiting for their official written letter. I don't want to get into personnel issues, but there's certain processes that haven't been followed yet. So we're waiting for that, and then once that's done, we'll meet with Art and see what positions, and now that are vacated, what we want to open and be available for staff that's already on board, and then other positions.
question, Art and Mike, if, when will we start this work? If we do it?
Well, that's where we'll sit down and identify some dates and which is advantageous with the weather. And first I gotta find the money, which I think I can. And then get some dates, that are advantageous based on weather and manpower.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Direction to staff regarding design of speed humps installation for Chambon Road and Severo Hill Street are approved for a total of 21 humps. Item F, establishment of Socorro County Drug Use Prevention Task Force Committee and appointment of committee members. I asked Mike to put this on the agenda, because I don't know. Like I said a while ago, we lost some kids to fentanyl, and then recently, I don't know if you saw an article in the Chip that a citizen kind of was asking for help, you know, us in the city. It was mentioned that we're not approving, but there's more cannabis buildings going up, and it's just getting bad. And that person wanted to know what we're doing, is as a county and the city to defray or try to help. We heard that letter that just came in from that representative. They've sent letters to our governor and nothing, no response back. You know, it's a crisis, not only the people coming over, but the drugs. So I'm asking for you commissioners, what do you think? I felt we needed to appoint a committee. Well, Athena said that there's a lot of stuff going on, but a lot of people don't know. A lot of people, they don't know what's going on. I think we need to have a committee to start trying to get the word out and hopefully see what can be done. I think the school needs to be involved. Law enforcement needs to be involved. Commissioners, I sent Mike the list of who I felt needed. You guys, what do you guys feel? You think it'd be something worth us tackling, or how do we support it? What do we do? I did request from the Associated Counties to put it on the agenda to be able to send a letter to our governor, hoping the other counties will support it. Because you see it in the news every day. It's getting bad, not only in the state, but the nation. So it's hard. It's hard to see the youth that have died, and until it really affects you personally, something happens within your family, then it's kind of.
Well, it is affecting all of us, Mr. Chairman. Not all of us have had a family member die, but the crime and the theft and things that are going on, I bet it's touched every one of us. And the answer to me is the governor. I mean, maybe we need to take the news camera to her door. I grew up by the hair of the head. I don't know. That's where the answer is. And it's a shame. It's shameful that she will not even answer to the commissions, not only this commission, but several of them. That first letter we sent out, there was probably at least half a dozen commissions that joined us. Wasn't there now? Something in that neighborhood. And nobody has had a response. You know, that would be a way to make her go to the funeral of these kids. Explain to those parents why she couldn't do something. It's pitiful. But what can we do? What can we do?
I do know that there are some organizations already in place in Socorro, in which I attend once in a while whenever I'm available. I don't know if the commission would like to have a commissioner actually. Those we have juvenile justice committee working group. We have scope. We have escape. Some of that stuff. They meet at least once a month. I don't know if you would, if any of you would like to attend, and I can start giving you some of those.
Is there a way to get like our story out to the media, to other counties to join us, like as to just what has
right
there. Just what has the governor done, and why cannot we? We're a governing body. I mean,
I think it would be, I think if we used resources like our Association of Counties and asked the executive director there to poll all the other counties and see what their information is of drug use and abuse and fatalities caused by, along with any related crime instances or cases, and then actually have some data, and then actually as a concerted group.
And I think we need to promote the help we have, because as a resident of this community, I didn't know that these were available. I did not know.
I think before we, or as we tackle this, and I'll just say it, start pointing fingers, we should know what is actually going on. There is programs, but the answer that you're asking, what is the answer to it? You know, in my other career and my personal life and just in life in general, it's an individual choice. And reaching out to people, whether it's your family or kids that you come across or just somebody that you know is having a hard time, it's more successful if done individually than by a committee or a court mandate, but it's a tough nut to crack. I'll just tell you that straight up, it is. And why there's more of it, I have no idea. That's the part. Then there's not a government entity that's gonna fix the mindset of the way people think nowadays. And the mindset of people now is just, it's always been there, there's just more of them falling away to that lifestyle, that getaway or whatever they think it is, you know. So that's my feeling. And I do my part quietly with kids, family members, you know, nobody's immune to it. And that's how I'll continue doing it and try and find out. And that's where I'm falling short personally is I don't know what programs are available. You know, people just reach out to me and I just tell them, you know, don't ever cross that line. And if you crossed it, then look at the outcome. Stay away from it. That's all I can say. I don't have an answer for it because it's not easy and it's an individual choice. You know, and the fentanyl and any drug, the cannabis, you know why there's so many cannabis stations? It's a business, supply and demand. It's just like any other one. And that's just a sign of where we're at in society. And quite frankly, shame on us. You know, that's not no president, no governor, no commissioner fault. It's our fault. But you don't give up on mankind. I don't. You know, I kind of take a beating sometimes with it, but that's okay. That's who I am. That's my spill on it in a nutshell.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I didn't have much, I guess I have more mercy now for the people that are using, since I became commissioner, since I went into the jails. And you see people going into jail, they look like they're about to die. They feel like they're about to die. Some of them would rather take their life than to go through what they're going through. So I look at it more as angry at the drug, not the person. And I agree with you, Joe, it is your choice. And the key is not to make that first choice the wrong choice. But then think of all of us. You're a teenager. You're at a party. Some girls are rowdy. Anyway, you're tough. You're a football player. You're whatever you are. I can handle it. And all of us have a inquisitive mind and we wonder how things might be. What's that first taste of liquor? What does that buzz feel like? We've all been there. And peer pressure and all of these things, it is your choice. But some of these drugs, they say that you do it once, it has you. It owns you right there. And maybe, so I went to a DWI class many years ago and they said that one of the first things that happens when you get buzzed on booze, whatever, is your ability to know danger or to leaves you. So you get numb and chingon, you know? And I'm gonna try this anyway, my friends are, and it would be very easy to fall into that crack and very hard to get it out. And these programs that we have in town, I'm not aware of them either. I should be, I guess. I'm glad they're there, they're necessary, and we'll never get rid of all of them. But when you know that the majority of these drugs are coming through a door right there that you can see, why don't we shut it? And will they look for another way? Yeah. But this country, this state has the ability to shut that thing down. We can fight and we can win wars across the world. The only country that can. And we can stop this problem. And that's what's so aggravating to me. 100%, I don't guess. And why so many people? I still say our welfare system. Any good people would have a safety net to catch people that fall. Some people will need that net around them all their life. But most of our people on it, it's a joke. They laugh at it. So therefore, they're getting a check in the mail, and guess what? Well, they're not working. When you work all day, if you work for me all day, you're gonna be tired when you go home, and you're not gonna do males. But if you're sitting on grandma's couch and you get happy and content with whatever check comes in the mail, you lose your drive to do better. I'm happy right here with this 20 I got. Anyway, my friends are gonna go pick me up something at Walmart. And that's where we are. And what, more than half of this state is on assistance. And yet you can't fill your jobs, good jobs. I can't fill mine. Why? I mean, I don't have there's not one answer that you can put your finger on. It's like a perfect storm. And we all want to help our kids and stuff. I don't ever remember my dad giving me a $20 bill, ever. But he'd buy me a shovel. He'd put gas in the tractor. He'd make sure that I had the tools that I needed to do the job, but to hand money, not a chance. And it saddens me to see.
Well, it's like Commissioner Aguilar said, we know these programs were paid. Well, you know, the programs that are available, you're not gonna know about them until someone in your family needs it. And that's when they go, like the compliance office. I stopped today there, you know, they got the signs, we're off on Fridays, call this number if you need help. The people that are going there are already in trouble, already need help. And I bet you a lot of parents don't know what kind of help. Did you guys get that email from Scope? What are the top used substances by the youth in support?
What is it?
What is it?
I didn't see it.
Well, there was an email that Scope, I got it. I don't know if all the commissioners get it.
Yeah.
So they surveyed the Cottonwood Middle School, Saraceno Middle School, Socorro High School, Magdalena Middle School, and Magdalena High School. They did survey Allen School, Commissioner Secretary. It was 570 students. And you'd be surprised of what they're saying. E-cigarettes, marijuana, alcohol, binge drinking, painkiller misuse, prescriptions, stimulants, fentanyl, it's all there. And these are students that answered. Not everybody answered. It's like the other day we had those two young girls. And when you asked that girl, you know, about what was going on, they were going to tell you, because it's a problem. All I'm saying is a commission, there's stuff out there. I feel we need to have a committee to put the information out. Athena said that her office is willing to help, whatever. She says there's a ton of stuff, but that's a ton of stuff that we need to get out to people. I feel.
So, Mr. Chairman, I agree with you that we need to get the information out. I guess where I disagree is creating a committee to do it. I think we already have things in place, people in place that could help Athena's office or other. The paper, I just don't understand the committee, or maybe it would be a good idea to have a school somebody, a city somebody, a county somebody, but then what are they gonna do? I mean, that's where I get hung up. I think what you suggested, going through the Association of Counties,
That's for,
that's for like a fix for the governor, you're right, but to make people aware of these programs that are there to help.
well, if I may, Commissioner, if the committee is not the answer, we have the compliance office. Maybe we can request the chief of presentation, public meeting, and invite the schools, invite school, whoever she needs to invite, and tell the public, here's the meeting that we're gonna display what's going on, what is happening, these are the programs that are there to help you, just take advantage of it. So that would be my thing. I don't know what you think, Mike.
Thank you, Chairman, Commission. I think if the idea of a committee is, I think first would be, what would be the goal of the committee? And then would it be information dissemination? Or is it trying to develop some other type of mitigation profile? I don't know if it's information dissemination. I think a committee might not be well served, other than if you're willing to take on disseminating information yourself from those entities that are already publicizing, the services and what's available out there. And then after you develop the goal would be your objectives. How are you going to achieve that goal? If you're going to disseminate the information, the objectives would be, well, we're going to hold a meeting every week, or we're going to actually go to people's homes, or we're going to go to the schools. That's the way that I would think that would have to go. And or if you want to invite those other entities that provide information and services to come and talk at the commission, and then have some insight and say, okay, we see what you're doing, how can we best serve what you're doing? And that might be a fairly good approach. Get their input, see what they're doing, and then say, okay, what do we need to do to more readily assist you to get all this information out there? Because our hospital actually has a lot of information too. Behavioral health has a lot of information as well. So those type of entities, and then go from there, and then maybe even dovetail. And then if you think you still want to have a committee and you have the goal of information dissemination and then the objectives, you have to develop the objectives to get that done.
Well, before I make comments on what you said, this young lady, state your name.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Veronica Espinosa. I'm from Scope Health Council. I just wanted to say that I think, truly helping us and working together is the right approach. One of the things that we came across, because we do a lot of, we apply for grants. Specifically, one grant that we got through the state was the overdose prevention grant, in which we are using to promote Narcan distribution. So anyone in the county, offices, businesses, schools can come to us and request Narcan for free. We deliver. We give Narcan trainings to whoever. Businesses, again, community members can walk in. Businesses, schools can request a Narcan training for free of charge. With the Narcan training, participants get a Narcan box, as well as other resources. The point I'm saying this is those grants are ending. We know that there is the overdose settlement money coming in through the state, and from conversations with leaders, it seems that the only way that organizations like us can get or have access to that money is through our county. It seems like they will be dispersing that money through county or through municipalities, basically. And we would like to know how we can work together, what you need from us in order to get that money and be able to make sure that we use it and bring it back to our communities.
Do you feel like our manager said that bringing in the difference, like you guys to come and talk to see what you offer, and then if the other people come at the same time, like the schools, you think that'd be a good idea so information can be shared?
Oh, definitely. I know we have a really close connection with the schools. One of our targets that we're really struggling is parents. I know later in this fall, we're going to do an overdose or youth overdose 101 presentation. We'll talk to parents about how to prevent an overdose, how to talk to your kids about overdose, and kind of start having that conversation. And also just providing with other resources such as mental health. We are seeing, I don't know, I'm kind of referring to the report that Scope sent out. That was done through the Socorro County Prevention Coalition. A lot of the kids are, what we're seeing, especially with marijuana, is that they're using this drug to cope, whether they might have anxiety, depression, or other mental health challenges. So we know that mental health is such a huge thing when it comes to our youth and why they're using or experimenting with such substances. So it's important that we start getting parents involved and letting them know that these are the resources that our organizations and our county and our city offer, and that we're there to help.
So I guess my question is, you kind of mentioned that they're using because of mental health, depression and all that. Why? Why are they mentally? And I'm not being.
I mean,
that's to me. That's the mindset. Why do they have that mindset?
No, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, that is. I mean, we saw this huge increase, especially after the pandemic. It is a huge part of it. It's also just sometimes the stigma. I know where there, or even the access to mental health. We do have I know, we have Socorro Mental Health. There are mental health programs in our high school, but sometimes that's not enough to cover, our whole population. So we also, and, we understand that, we're not going to find someone overnight to take these positions as therapists, but we are implementing other programs where I myself just got certified for youth mental health first aid training, which is a training where community members, parents can come and they are able to recognize signs and symptoms of a mental health challenge within youth and how to respond to it. It's not like, you're the one doing the therapy, you're the one doing the diagnosing. So Scope now will be able to offer that training to the community members and to parents who want to learn and want to be informed about this. So it's, yeah.
Chairman, if I might, again, mental health and no pride, put them to work. You can't be filled with pride if you've done nothing to be proud of. Parents, I mean, this is where the answer is here, our local, parents, government can't fix everything. And we can't raise kids. And I don't mind the devil works in the shop. That's what I was told all that I believe in. And me being a farmer, I've been told, well, you're lucky you could keep your son busy, right? Well, if I lived in town, I would have him buy a lawnmower, all the neighbors, take the old lady, go do her shopping, take her to the hair store, wash cars up and down. There's not an excuse. Keep them busy, keep them working. They can be proud of what they do. And is it 100? Of course not, but laying on the couch, getting up at 10 and 12 o'clock in the morning. Well, there you go. Running the street all night. You won't run the street if you're working. I don't know.
Well,
I wish I had the answer.
Well, Mike, if the commission is in favor, maybe you can put something together, like what you said, to invite those people to come and talk to us to help us out. And I want to thank you. You're providing a NARCOM training at Magdalena at the Senior Center Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we do personalized training, like for that one specifically, is tailored for older adults. but we can do anything for parents, for businesses, for schools, for teachers. We personalize it.
Where do you bring it back to Elmo again?
Yes, we will be going, yeah. I'm not sure, we've got to talk to the nurse again for going back and doing Narcan trainings. I do want to say, and this is a great achievement for Scope. So I don't know if you heard that, Scope hosted a youth summit this past April. And we were able to mass train 7th and 8th graders in using Narcan. And we did have a response from students afterwards that they had to use their Narcan on their parents or on their family members.
Well, I think that's great, the Narcan training and all that, but for me personally, it's sad that that's what we've become. We should strive that we don't need Narcan training and all that stuff. I agree with you 100%. Your program is important because that's the rut we're stuck in right now. But our goal should be, we don't need Narcan training, because we don't need that.
No,
See what I'm saying?
definitely.
So that's
I totally agree with that. With our Narcan trainings, we do also talk about prevention for
prevention.
We are in the schools, right now in the middle schools with the 7th graders. We do what's called a Bocc life skills class with 7th graders, where we not only talk to them about, alcohol, marijuana, and tobacco, but we do give them life skills in the sense of self-image, maybe self-confidence, how to cope with anger, how to cope with anxiety, how to, those refusal skills, how to say no, how to be confident about saying no when you're feeling like you're peer pressured to doing something. So right now, we started this program last year at no cost to the schools. This was all through our federal grant that Scope got. We have been in Saraceno 7th grade, Cottonwood 7th grade, and Alamo 7th grade. We will be back starting this fall back to Cottonwood and Alamo, and then we'll be doing Saraceno in the spring semester. Hopefully, we also will get the buy-in from Magdalena to start implementing this curriculum in their schools.
Do you agree that maybe all those, like you just talked about, that if there was, more immediate family involvement instead of just the kids, that it would be more successful than coming just from?
Oh, definitely. But I feel like in order to have, we also have to make sure that those immediate family members have those tools in place and that they, feel comfortable having these conversations with their kids.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
In a small town, they may not wanna come forward,
Exactly. And I mean, I know Socorro, we all love each other. We all have a big heart for one another. But it can also just be very intimidating and a very scary topic. And we want to make sure that we're empowering our parents, empowering our family members to have these conversations.
So I have a saying that everybody's special and nobody's special. So I'm gonna add to that, everybody's mental and nobody's mental. That helps, I think, because, everybody has issues. Me personally, others.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, just really quick, regarding the opioid funds. So actually Socorro County, took the lead in actually pursuing those lawsuits and did the RFP and joined all the counties together and received those funds. So Socorro County's been at the forefront of that, and we're now receiving those funds. And the county commission, along with other counties, created an organization, a new legal authority to pool the funds together. The Opioid Remediation Collaborative, and so that's getting off the ground. They're going to have enough money to do a lot of good. It can only be used for opioids. But that said, I would mention that I believe Athena's going to a lot of those meetings on behalf of Socorro County, so you might want to talk with her about that. About perhaps Scope would have the ability to access some of those funds because it's now being pooled and really starting to take off. It was this commission that really did it from the start.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Okay. Just one other little thing. It's been on my mind since I've been commissioner. Pauline told me out of meals, said, you lay awake at night thinking of these things. But I still go back to pride. A lot of your mental, a lot of your kids, they may not have much pride. Well, when we designed this Escondido Lake, it might be a good place, and it's, I guess, my own thinking. I live by the railroad, and I used to see the train go by, and I would look at all the graffiti and think, how nasty, why do they do that? And are the cars in there when they do the spraying? And now I look at it, that's a lot of talent. I couldn't do that. And it's unharvested talent. And as we design elephant view, we need an elephant view here, don't we? Escondido Lake, I've always thought of this, if you've noticed like murals that are painted around in town, very seldom do they get tagged or graffitied on, it's those vacant walls and things like that. What if we took a cement wall, maybe kind of a maze, maybe half a dozen little short walls out there at Escondido Lake, something that we could afford, that we could build. And maybe the men and women that come out of jail or somehow pick some people that would be willing to, we'll give you 8 feet here of this wall too. You paint what you want to, nothing bad, nothing gang related. But if you want to put a 55 Chevy on it, do your work and put your name on it. And maybe it could be something that would attract people. And maybe somebody would say, you know what, I think I might have a job for that fella. Can you find me that man? If nothing else, they could be proud of what they did. I know it's a hard thing to tackle, but you're looking at people that they have no pride. They had a home that it was impossible to have pride with. So something like that, I know it's small, but maybe it would grow, and maybe somebody would get some benefit out of it. I don't know, I'd like to know what you guys think, if it's just like, what do you think?
I know for us at Scope, we had this idea where the skate park that's in City of Park, we would like to invite youth and have like kind of a skate and paint where, kids get to paint and kind of bring to life that skate park. And, there have some prevention programming. We even talked about getting some of the local DJs in town and having them, play around with their system and, getting the feel like, oh my, maybe this is something that I can get into. Because you're right, it's all about having that pride and having those outlets for these youth. And I think that'd be an amazing idea. I know for us, we are currently trying to establish a youth council within our organization, and that's something where the kids are proud. Like, this is going to be run by kids. Sure, we're going to facilitate it. We're going to get them where they need to get. But we want them to know that this is something that it's theirs, that is that they made it, and it's something that they want to protect, and see that this is what they can do.
And I'm thinking like maybe every year you have 6 feet of this wall, and we're going to judge them, and who gets the blue ribbon, right, or something. Maybe have 2, 3 different categories or something. I don't know, but somehow get some pride into these people that are missing it. And then next year, no, we're painting gray again and let somebody else have a turn at it. I mean, that's affordable.
Well, Commissioner Duggins, I don't know if you remember, but when we had the Associated Counties Conference at Tech, one of the items was to give an award to the detention centers of the state that wanted to submit some kind of art. And because there's a lot of detention guys that are in there, pretty talented. I forgot who placed first, second, third, but it was well received. And some of those, I remember some of the guys in our detention center turned in items and they did a good job. So it does create some kind of pride. Some people have that talent to be able to do that. Everybody has a talent, some way different. One thing I want to tell you, you're a young lady, and thank you for being part of the school and coming today. Because the younger generation will communicate better with somebody like you than somebody like us. Or me, anyway, I'm speaking for
Yeah,
myself.
we don't understand, we're too, it's not that way anymore.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you for coming.
And come back and throw us ideas, I think we're all willing to do what we can.
Let me hand you my card. Any information or any questions for scope? I'm their program assistant and also their harm reduction specialist. But if you need to contact with my boss, Samantha, which will be the coordinator, definitely reach out to it.
Thank you.
And then for any community, we go all the way to Veguita, we go to Alamo, and anyone that needs our help, basically.
Thank you. Is it too late to add some of that to Escondida as we go?
That's phase 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so we tasked our manager to put something together. Okay, financial action items, A, approval of vendor checks, who wants to do that?
I will,
Okay.
I will come, remember how in the past we do, combine those two?
Okay,
So I will, make a motion to combine block A, which is vendor checks in the amount of $241,619.19, dated for July 11th. And item B, approve payroll checks in the amount of $210,598.17, dated for July 25th.
I'll second that.
motion by Commissioner Secretarial, second by Commissioner Gonzalez. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The vendor checks and payroll checks are approved. Executive session, we have none, no?
Correct.
Good. Our next meeting is August 8th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah, good.
All in favor? Signify by saying aye. We are adjourned at 10 till 7.